Hi, love. How are you, Bunny?
Good evening, Dash. How are you?
I'm very, very well. I can't complain. I've had a relaxing day, much needed after a few weeks of sad mood, sad boy vibes. And you look a bit tired. I wish people were watching this on YouTube now so they could see this angadai that's going on.
I'm actually stretching only because I genuinely feel so tight and like just very wound up. No, it's Monday evening, and this is my normal complaint during our session is that it's always
थोड़ा tough हो जाता है.
yeah, it's just I feel like every Monday something happens and I'm rushing for this last sort of interaction of my day. Also, for those who live in Bombay, maybe this is relevant or this you can relate. This weekend, they turned SV Road into just one lane. So
Tough.
my life is now a one lane road.
One lane or one way? No, two ways, but one lane on each side.
Yeah, but it's insane because it's like such a busy thoroughfare. So
It really is.
It was. I've never had such bad traffic, or at least haven't had it in a year and a half because of COVID. Like
Yes.
you've gotten used to a much lighter traffic. Anyway, this episode isn't about traffic.
Welcome to our episode about pets and plants, which I think is a really lovely topic. And big shout out to Jalasmi, our amazing producer, for suggesting it.
Who has been pushing this episode since a really long time. And every time I look at it, I always wonder, what will we talk about in this episode? But never fear. We will not.
Because the journey of adulthood is all encompassing. And I'm sure plants and pets have now found a special place in this umbrella of adulthood.
I just do want to say at the top of this episode before I forget and before it gets washed out in like the heavier stuff. I want a dog.
Oh my God, Ayushi, I am fully rooting for you. मैं manifest कर रही
Yeah,
हूँ.
so I'm manifesting a pup, and I think it's time. Like it's very much part of what I need right now, and I have love to give as well. I don't want to just say that
Yes.
I need a dog. Like I have love to give as well.
You have a lot of love to give.
Yes. But I know that it's not right to say that you want a specific breed anymore. Like I'm aware of why that's like not the
Problematic.
why that's problematic. And I understand the reasons behind it. I accept it. So if anyone wants to help me adopt, not shop, reach out.
Reach out to Ayushi. We want a puppy, which is Maine, so that we can raise it.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And I would definitely prefer one that's a bit floofier. Not like a
Poodle.
or like a Shih Tzu kind of poofy, but like more like kind of just like a border collie poofy.
Some kind of fluff you need. Fair enough.
Yes, I just need something to just like put my full face into.
Yeah,
You know,
I understand.
I want to put my face into.
It's funny how we want furry pets, not furry men, though.
No.
Can you imagine burying your face into a hairy chest?
No.
Neither.
This is a no. But you should stick around for the end of this episode because we're going to announce something quite exciting that has maybe something to do. Well, I don't know if there's something to do with a hairy chest, but it definitely has something to do with partnership. So
okay, I love it, Ayushi. I see where you're going. First, I was like, what is she? And then I realized what you
know
meant.
what I'm talking about.
I do know.
Well, this episode is about pets and plants. And the reason we thought that actually it has something to do with adulthood is because a couple of reasons. A, pets, just as we know, there's more than enough research about how much joy that they bring to the families that they are a part of. They become companions, not just for people in our age, but also older than us, younger than us.
And younger, yeah.
They are a great way of building and learning about responsibility, taking care of another living creature.
Both pets and plants are just a lesson in responsibility, actually.
Honestly, yes.
Yeah.
And it teaches us a lot about love and loss at a young or old age. And they bring a sense of fulfillment that is almost equivalent, and some will argue even equal to human interaction and human love and affection.
Absolutely, if not more. In fact, it's a purer kind of love, I would say.
Yeah. And yes, it is purer because it seems very like unconditional, at least from the pet side to you.
And from the human sides, people are like so cute about their pets.
Of course. I just mean that the slight difference between the human to human and the human to pet is the pet just loves you.
I agree. No, because, this human love is damn conditional and it's really no fun sometimes.
So, and I think it was relevant to us recently because the pandemic, again, has given us a host of topics to talk about. But a huge part of the pandemic was about the sense of feeling alone, isolated, feeling a bit lonely. And pets and plants have been something that a lot of people have reached out to. Now, not to get more into the sadder part of it so soon, but there has been a lot of research about why the pandemic has not been good for pets. They've gotten very used to having their human families
home
around, so they are having trouble adjusting out of that. And the other thing is a lot of people landed up adopting, buying, or bringing pets into their life during the pandemic to make themselves feel less lonely, which is so understandable, justified. It's a human emotion. But then the minute like stuff started picking up again, people could not devote that kind of time and attention to the pets that they need at that young age or at an older age. And a lot of pets ended up getting abandoned, given back to the shelters, or, not the kind of getting neglected. So it was a tough time, but it's also been, I've seen the rise of a lot of beautiful relationships between my friends and their pets.
Yeah, and you and your immediate almost family have had a new addition.
Right. My brother's girlfriend, Serena, shout out, who got
Hello.
COVID.
Hope you feel better.
This
anyway,
is dedicated to her as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so she just got her dog Kelso, and when he the first day that he came, he actually came to our house first before even her house because she wasn't living there at the time, and he's just been in and out of our lives every weekend for the last like 2 months. So just the joy that he brings to our household for those 3-4 hours that he's here on a Sunday is just amazing. I cannot, my God. I'm so happy just thinking about him. So I can't imagine what people feel for the pets that they do have and the love that they've shared with them. So this is...
What's the journey of your parents and the dog's relationship been like? Because I feel like a lot of Indian families who've not grown up with pets, like my house, so for sure, my dad never wanted a pet when we were kids. It was like, oh, no, we don't need animals in the house.
So we have always wanted a dog, my dad, my brother, and myself. But my mom has always been against it. Not that she's not a dog person. She's just not an additional responsibility.
A pet person, yes. Fair.
Because she's like, I have 2 kids.
Yes, and a husband.
And a husband. And she was working also when we were younger. So she just didn't want to take anything more on. And she has a lot of close friends who had dogs. So she knew the kind of responsibility and the trauma actually that comes with losing a pet. Because
loving and losing,
people don't talk about that enough, that quite a bit. But she's seen a lot of people lose pets, and she was like, I just can't put myself through that. I don't want to, which, okay. But as we've grown up, we've just kept going on and on and on about it. But now that Kelso's been coming around to the house, we have definitely seen a change in her behavior. We have so many videos and pictures of her just like loving the dog and like getting mad at us if we wake up Kelso if he's napping, and like if we say no more like snacks, and then she gets upset. She's like, what are you doing? He's a growing boy, he needs to eat. And we're like, lady,
that's cute. That's very cute.
So she's definitely warming up. She still said a hard no, but now that I'm crowdsourcing this dog, and y'all are gonna get me one,
yeah, it's gonna be hard for her to say no.
Yeah, so eventually we decided to do the sink or swim thing, whereas we're just going to push a puppy.
Go for it. Yes.
And if you say no to a puppy, like that's like We have bigger problems.
Ayushi, I am 100% supporting you on Project Pup. And as I'm sure the rest of our listeners are, so if it comes down to that, we will all have an intervention, listeners and myself, and we will appeal to Nehanti for Project Pup to be a success.
Yes, you'll all have to write in and say why this is the right decision.
I agree.
Like, ever since she was a guest on the show, she thinks that she has fans, which she does.
I'm sure she does. Yeah.
So, if she hears from them, she'll be convinced.
It might, it might make a difference. It'll help the decision, I'm sure. So
What's
we'd
your
also
relationship with pats?
With pats, Ayushi, you are my pat. I am teacher's pat. I am a special naughty pat. Kidding. Matlab pet. I am tripping. No, I'm kidding. Talking shit. Also because it's a hectic topic because we lost our pet recently, but we'll talk more about that later. Look at me, unable to handle grief.
That's another reason why this is a good adulthood topic.
Yeah, because adulthood you have to handle many things, and this is just another part of life.
Yeah, and it's a tough one, and it's something that I've seen you and your family kind of go through right now, and
which is why we have a very special guest actually today to talk to us. My nearest and dearest best friend, Natashja Rathore.
Your sister, in case people forgot.
Sister. My best sister. Hi, Taigi. Welcome to Agla Station Adulthood, sweetie.
Welcome back, actually.
I'm supposed to clap.
No, you are not supposed to clap, ma'am.
Because I just started my recording.
Oh, wow. The technician.
But welcome back to the show.
Hello.
You are actually our first double guest.
Yeah, you and Devu.
Dave hasn't been on the show again.
Oh, double guest like that. Double appearance.
Oh, I was like...
that we've had back again.
Are you feeling special?
Yeah, I've have back 3 times. Sorry, this is my triple appearance.
You have back 3 times? When you come before?
I came to the studio once, and then I came for the sibling day thing, and then now this is my third time.
And then when you came to the studio, you and Tash had a fight in the middle of the episode. Just to remind everyone that
yes, that is how siblings function. Take it or leave it.
In the middle of the recording. And at this point, everyone's like, what is going on? Oh, the studio days were so fun.
Yeah. You can't really fight on Zoom. It's not even fun.
Yeah, you just pretend you have bad internet and you leave.
Yeah.
You drop off the call.
So, Taigu, Natashja, welcome to our show. Today we are chatting about pets and plants, both very dear to you. And basically now Ayushi has told us her relationship with the pet world in her family. Why don't you start with our relationship with the pet life in our family and how it all came about?
So, I've been living alone for the last almost 3 years. And lockdown has been hard. So obviously I was like, let's get a pet.
One of those people, those countless people, Natashja was one of them.
Those countless people who was like, I need a pet in my life. I have love to give and love to receive. And just like Ayushi, I wanted a floof. Luckily, I stumbled upon this floof. Which came into my life when it was 2 years old, 2 months old. 2 months old, sorry. And we named that floof Billaroo.
Billaroo is just like a Gujarati gender-neutral word for cat.
Exactly, gender-neutral Billaroo.
But she was a girl, yeah.
Yeah, no, we are saying gender-neutral now, but you guys, like, you remember, right, when you guys first got her?
We thought she was a boy. Sir Billaroo, she was.
Yeah, it was Sir Billaroo.
Yeah, we misgendered her. Anyway.
And after you found out, and then Tash was like, yeah, but it's not us cats, so it's gender neutral.
The cat is woke, yeah.
I was like, it definitely is a woke cat.
Yeah, I used to call her good boy because she respond to that. And she's like, she was a boy. She was I feel
B-O-I boy.
Yeah, no, she was genuinely, like her soul was gender neutral. It was that. And Bill was a really cuddly cat. Like from the first day I got her, she'd just come and lie down in my lap and just be like, sleep on my leg and my chest. And it was everything I dreamt of in a pet.
I
I
remember at that
even
time.
I even trained her to like give high fives and shake hands.
Yes.
And you can follow Billaroo on Instagram. There's like still lots of videos that I'm going to put up. I haven't. But yeah, Bill was. What do I say? Bill was.
How did you decide to get a cat though? What were your thoughts? Like, I never remember being into cats when we were younger. No, everyone always like was like a dog person.
Yeah, so I've interacted with cats on one or two occasions at friends' houses and stuff like that. I've even fought with these cats because cats didn't really like me. So I've gotten scratched by a friend's cat. But then I was like, hang on, do I really want a dog? Because I don't have that much attention to give, if you know what I mean. And I hate going for walks. So I don't want to take the dog for a walk.
Lazy.
So my lazy bum was like, let's just get a pet who can look after itself. And yeah, I have to do the minimum possible. But no, I did a lot for Bill.
I was going to say, Bill, like, traveled, went on planes, trains, automobiles. Bill was like shaking hands and giving you the paw. And this is not a lie. Like, I have interacted with said cat, and the cat has given me a high five. So for someone who said that they didn't want a dog, you kind of turned Bill into
exactly. So I wanted
best of both worlds.
I wanted the personality of a dog, but I wanted I wanted the independence. I wanted the love of a dog, but the independence of a cat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? Thankfully, I managed to train Bill. And people who say that you can't train cats is just bullshit, because you totally can. And I trained Bill. And Bill would listen to things. Bill would stay. Bill would sit. Bill would turn around. The latest trick was turn around, and she'd do it. And yeah,
that's why the fact that she was so, like, she learned everything. She was so intelligent. I just want to say she was a she.
Yes. And she's also Natashja's cat. So I really do believe like the main human and the pet take on each other's like traits. I feel it.
Was she like me?
Yeah. Like she'll be there for you, cuddly, sweet for 2 minutes.
Like you aren't as cuddly as your cat.
No, Natashja's very cuddly, but only till she wants. And then she'll also be like, okay, now, bye.
Yeah, exactly.
That's quite like a cat though.
Exactly. Yeah. I also have to say that as a family, what this did to us was suddenly we had like a new thing to love, and a new thing where our tensions as a family would be deflected. And in heated moments, Bill would be the savior because she's so fluffy and cute. And when that enters the picture, no matter what the fight is, no matter what the stress is, it will melt away for those few moments. And I've told Natashja this also. Of course, because family mein jhagde to hote hi hai. One furry has to be the chill pill in the middle. So seriously. Natashja also, I told her this.
A lot of like my dadi and aunt and my dad were like, what the hell, you're getting a cat?
They wouldn't touch us.
Yeah, they wouldn't wouldn't even go near a cat. And I still remember when I decided to go to Navsari for an entire month, and I told my grandmother, she's like, you're not going to bring the cat. I was like, no, I am going to bring the cat. The cat is your great grandchild. You have to deal with this.
I actually remember this.
And they were like, there's an outhouse, Billaroo can stay there and all. But then Natashja obviously kept Bill with her in the main house.
Yeah, and they grew to love her. They did. I even have a video of Dadi saying to Billaroo, Besija. And like Billaroo But in that 1 month, Billaroo had learned Gujarati. Billaroo would Besi ja, Billaroo would Hath up, Billaroo would do all kinds of things in Gujarati.
But pets
And
are just
yeah, it's like another kind of love. Actually, I've never felt a love like that. You love your friends, you love your family, you love
True.
partners, you love all kinds of things.
Also, because you would think it's strange that the three of us would do, not that Nata, because she actually had a pet, but the two of us would do an episode on pets and plants. But it's also because I think we haven't had that complete relationship of taking care of something so small that needs nurturing and needs
Yeah.
care, like a child. Like I don't want to go so far as to say that the same, because people on the internet will get upset.
It's not
with
the
me.
same also, but of you're caring for a living thing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and it is, at its best case scenario, a decade-long commitment, if not longer, for a
Yeah.
lot of these like more house and man trained kind of pets, like
Pets, yeah.
dogs and cats, and I think even like rabbits live really long, and so it's not. We haven't experienced that kind of love because we haven't had that opportunity yet to do that nurturing love, which I think comes to us naturally and is also coming to us a lot at this stage. I think there's something to be said about biology at some point.
Absolutely, womanhood, motherhood, somewhere these maternal instincts are to there.
Yeah, and they're coming out, and it was very nice to see Nata's softer, more docile, more maternal side while Bill was around.
Yeah, when Bill left, I told Natasha you were nicer when Bill was there.
This is a fact. This is a fact. Like, I mean, Bill made me a better person.
I have to agree hands down, because my main fear, though, of course, I was also very, very sad when Bill passed. But I was just scared Natasha's going to become a monster again. But she's promised
Well,
me.
no, you didn't say that. Your first fear was just, you was just worried about her. Like you were worried about your sister.
Means we were
Like,
all
mental
shocked, firstly. Yeah, and of course that, because it was a big shock, actually. The loss was so shocking and sudden and violent.
It was
Yeah, that it really took a, I mean, it's only been what, 10, 12 days?
15.
Yeah, 15 days. So very recent.
Mm.
And in this, whatever 15 days, Nata, do you feel like you've had, like, you must have grown up overnight suddenly? In another way, this element of an adulthood level of some sort has been unlocked. Yeah, do you want to talk to us about that?
Absolutely. So, I never thought that losing a pet, the heartbreak that comes with it, is greater than any heartbreak any man or woman can ever give you. And I've never felt my heart so heavy and so like gutted. I didn't know what gutted was till I lost Billaroo. And oh my God.
It's okay, you can cry. This is a safe space.
all the time.
Every day.
Oh man. Yeah.
To make you feel slightly better, in a way, at least now you're fully over every human being that you've lost in your life.
I felt like Bill took that heartbreak away. Like she just, like, now I don't give a shit about what happened in my love life.
Some sort of silver thread of a line is that you're over everything, because this is so much worse.
This is true. This is so true. Oh my God. Yeah. So, what was the question? I forgot.
What has the adulthood journey been like? And like what this level of adulthood you've unlocked suddenly?
And you,
as a 30-year-old woman, yeah.
And you've coped with it very specifically. Like you took very decided steps of, this is how I'm going to grieve, this is how I'm going to do it. So like walk us through that.
Okay. So it is one thing to lose somebody. I mean, a human being when they're old, or that they're ill, they're going to die, right? That happened with our grandfather, and we let him go so easily. Like all of us were at his bedside when it happened, and we were celebrating the next day. because it was
His
just
life.
the best. Yeah, his life. And that was just, I mean, it was the best way for anybody to have gone, right? I had never personally dealt with a death that was sudden, that was violent, um, and involved blood, and just like, uh, came absolutely out of the blue, unexpected. Um, so dealing with that grief, I realized is way, way, way harder to. It's way harder to process because you never saw it coming. Um, so the day it happened, I mean, obviously there was a certain amount of guilt as well because I left a window open and I never do it. Like in the 1 year that I have had Bill, all the windows have been shut. So she was only allowed to go out in the balcony where there was a net. Um, I don't know what happened that day in the morning, afternoon, or whatever. The room was damp, smelling like really weird or something. So I was like, I have to open the window, even if it's for a little bit. And I opened that window and I forgot it was open. And the same day, my parents had come to visit. And it's really strange because my dad never comes along with my mom, and he decided to come on that day. And they met Bill, and Pam was like all over Bill when she was leaving. She's like, bye, baby, and stuff, like cuddling her and stuff. Anyway, at night around this time, I was on a Zoom meeting like this, and she loved climbing onto this and just sitting here when I was working. This was like her place. This was just where she'd come, and then she'd jump onto the cupboard. And she was doing all those things. So in my head, I was like, shit, Bill is around.
In the room. She's in the room right now.
Yeah. And as soon as the meeting, and it didn't occur to me that the window was open. After the meeting ended, I was like, Bill, food. And when you say the magic word food, obviously they appear out of nowhere. And Bill didn't show up. And then it occurred to me that the window was open. And I looked down and Bill was lying there. And I started shaking. I started hyperventilating. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I was hoping for her to have broken some bones. That's where I was.
Yeah.
Right? And I grabbed my wallet, I grabbed my phone, I forgot the house keys, but I grabbed the car keys because I was like, I'll have to drive her somewhere. And I left. And yeah, and then I saw her there, and it's graphic imagery. I don't want to go into it, but
she had passed.
Yeah, she had passed, and she wasn't breathing, and I broke down into like uncontrollable howls. Like the whole building was like, what the hell is going on? People came rushing. Some person who I can't even recall her face or name. She came with this chadar to wrap Bill in. And I was locked out of the house because I'd left the key inside.
Oh my God.
So then, but thankfully, I had friends who I had new friends I had just made the previous week. Now look at this, all right? I was the most asocial person ever. Ayushi knows that. I hate going over. I hate going to parties. I hate interacting with people. I'm an introvert. Yeah. And obviously it would get depressing, right? Sometimes. And I remember after I brought her up home and we'd done everything and my friends were leaving and I said, thank you. And they were like, no, don't thank us. This is what bros do. And I almost cried because Bill had left me with friends. And yeah, that was the most beautiful thing. And in that moment, I was like, listen, it was probably her time to go. I mean, I can drive myself crazy with guilt, right? But why did I open that window on that specific day when I hadn't opened it in
A year.
all these days, right?
Yeah.
Why? It was just 4 floors. Cats land on their feet. Why did she not land on her feet?
Yeah.
Right? And suddenly, overnight, I had friends. So I was like, this little thing was surely like not a cat. That was my first thought, and um, I remember lots of conversations about should we bury, should we cremate, and we were like, no, we'll cremate her, and yeah, we put her in a nice box, went over to Lower Parel the next morning, cremated her. But that night that Bill was at Worley at our house in that little ice box, and there was a chant going on the whole night. And every time I stepped out, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep that night. I couldn't breathe. My mom slept literally in the middle of both of us.
I mean, I can't remember the last time my mother has slept in between both of us. It was a hella fucked up day.
I landed up speaking to you the day that like you put something, I don't know what it was, and I called you, and you were, I think you were delirious, I think, Tash, because you were almost laughing, but not laughing at the situation. You were just like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. This has happened. And like Ashna and I were like, what are we supposed to do? Like, the whole family has come a little bit unhinged.
Yeah, it was a very
100%.
delicate time, and you didn't know how. And like, honestly, Natasha has so obviously had it the worst with discovering and having to deal with it. But even for us who had grown to love Bill so much, and I was always like, she's my cat also. I didn't think of her only as Natasha's cat. It just hits you like a ton of bricks of this. And that's when actually, again, this loss of Bill has made me just realize how uncertain life is. And that actually spiraled a whole conversation with me and my parents. Natasha was also there. And I was like, guys, do you all have a will in place? Then suddenly, like, my brain has just gone like anything can happen to anyone, anytime.
Yeah.
You don't know what tomorrow has in store. What are we crying about today? The smallest of things. Like, you get some perspective when a big loss hits you, I guess.
And it's just been such it seems like this time is like heralded almost just by loss. And
the year it's been like, I mean, yeah.
It's just been consistent. But I think the way Nata was processing it in the first couple of days, whether that was externally or whether that was something that you were telling yourself to help you get through the days, like just your whole approach of that being her journey and that being like her aim, her adventure in life was to get you outside your shell, or like get you moving a little bit more, make you feel more like loved, and actually kind of show you that you are capable of loving somebody else.
Yeah, because there's something to be said about Natasha's mental health journey from before to after Bill.
And like, she was so affectionate with Bill, which is so unlike her as such. And I was like,
it took me a few weeks to adjust to it in the beginning. I was like, damn, Natasha's got goodness in her. ये तो चुड़ैल ही रहती है हर वक्त.
But that's what I think that's so cool that you're able to see it like that was her journey.
Another aspect, I think, of in growing up, I think it was a huge lesson in letting go. Yeah, because with a loss like this, it is easy to spiral. It is
expected to spiral. Actually.
It's expected, and I thankfully my mother had a shoot in Delhi the very next day, and I was back to my impulsive traveling self, and I was like, hey, I'm going to come with you, and let's go disperse Bill's ashes somewhere up there in the Himalayas. And we were like, okay, let's do it. And I think that whole process was just so cathartic, and it was so crucial in letting go of everything that we went to this place called Rudraprayag, which is a confluence of two rivers, Mandakini, which comes from Kedarnath, and Alaknanda, which comes from Badrinath. And these two really distinct, like the colors of the rivers are so different. And they merge at this one point. And I was like, I'd been to this place some 14, 15 years ago, and I'd remembered it. And I was like, no, that's the place I want to go. It's just somehow out of like nowhere, I was like, this is the place I want to go. And we showed up over there. And I remember when I was putting Bill's ashes into the water, I'd got like 2 little mogra flowers, and I put them on top of the ashes. And the force of the river is such that everything just goes. But this one mogra flower kept coming back to me. And I was like, buddy, you got to go. Just go. It's okay. Just go. And it finally went. And then the most magical thing happened. This little butterfly just did like a circle around me, literally, and then flew over the ashes. And in that moment, I felt so much peace. I was like, yeah, it's done. This is life.
I think to cope with grief and sticking to the rituals, whatever you feel like is right. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very important to give that time and space to those feelings. And I think you guys did. I was so sad I couldn't come on this trip because I was shooting. Had I not been shooting, I would have been
magical thing happened after that.
Yeah.
We were on our way back to Delhi and we decided to stop for breakfast a little before Rishikesh. And there's this trek, just like a long trek, and then a beach downstairs, which was like completely secluded, rocks and nothing else.
They have gone skinny dipping, might I say.
Yes. It was very liberating, might I say.
Pam and Taigu both.
So we've gone skinny dipping in this river, and on my way out, like my hands in the water, and so I was just casually picked up a rock. And this rock was in the shape of a perfect heart.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
You not.
Yeah, it's a heart-shaped rock.
After it dried up is when we realized that it is the exact same color of Billaroo and around the same weight as well. Do you want to bring that rock? It's outside.
I will bring it. Natasha has brought the rock home, of course.
I feel like I'm having some sort of weird deja vu. I don't understand. This feels surreal as a conversation.
The whole experience was so surreal. It was just like, oh my God. And I've never seen a rock like this. There were rocks of all shapes and colors and sizes.
Oh my goodness, that's actually a heart-shaped rock.
And Nata sat down in the water, and this was the first rock she touched. Apparently,
I wasn't even looking for a sign. I wasn't looking for anything.
You were just like sitting comfortably, trying to get cozy in your Nangu body in the river.
Exactly.
And you just hit upon little Billy. Hi.
So, I mean, this confirms my belief that Bill was a guardian angel.
Also, I have to get this out of my system because it's stuck in my head like a loop. But the fact that Bollywood has ruined the words Kedarnath and Badrinath for me, I'll never forgive it. Because the moment you said both of those, I straight away thought of the connection to Bollywood.
The movie and the song, na? Hello, yaar. Bollywood.
But that's beautiful. There's no other way to.
How are you handling your mental health now, Taigu? How are you coping? What are the steps you're taking? You can give us some concrete things so that even our listeners who face things like this, or we are all learning and on this journey.
Yeah. So there will be times when you kind of you'll have good times. You'll have times where you're feeling like absolute shit. You're missing the person, you're missing the animal, and it is natural. But I think what's important is to accept that they are no more. Accept that you need to move on and that you can't be stuck in that rut. And they wouldn't want to see you that way, right? Above all. So concrete things, I would say the first thing is set a routine because it helps. Like even generally, even if you've not faced a loss, just setting a routine really helps with mental health.
Yes, agree.
right? Wake up early in the morning, go do some physical exercise, release those endorphins, eat clean,
Who
and
is Natashja right now?
She's wholesome yogini.
eat clean and keep yourself busy and socialize.
Yes, I think it's
I've got a
important. This
social life.
brings us to community. A man is not an island.
Natashja wants to socialize.
We have not spoken about plants though. This was supposed to be an episode about pets and plants.
We'll end with plants. I'm still focusing on the fact that you said that you want to socialize.
So I'm also organizing a dinner at my house this week, Natasha. I expect you to be in attendance.
Of
It's going to
course
be a
I'll be there.
Lebanese night. Aishi also invited.
Excellent.
There was no question about this. Secondly, when is this dinner? I didn't know that we were having dinner this week.
I just told Pam yesterday. I was like, let's have a cute dinner at our house.
Great. You will see me there.
Of course.
But thanks, Nat.
Thank you, Nata. Really.
I know
I
know this can't have been easy.
Before we were recording, Natasha almost copped out. She was like, I don't know. I don't feel like talking about Bill right now and all. But thank you for being brave enough to come on and talk to us. We love you.
I'm sure this could have helped someone who is going through something similar or is mourning the loss. And I think even a lot of pet parents who have elderly pets and old pets, like they struggle with this thing of like, what's the right thing?
Right
to do?
way
Right.
to, yeah.
Like, how do you, because the idea of putting down or letting go or stopping to treat certain ailments and illnesses, it's such a difficult conversation.
Those are hard decisions to make also, of course.
And, the fact that the object or the thing that you're talking about can't really verbalize in the same way that we expect communication to happen. So often you feel so lost, not knowing how to deal with that. But you've articulated well. And I think you found the language that Bill was using to speak to you.
Yeah.
If that's something that makes sense.
Okay.
Poetic.
Bridging your section into the plants, Bill loved lemongrass.
So the heart-shaped stone has found itself in Natasha's lemongrass plant.
That's amazing. How is your lemongrass, by the way? Because I'm always on the lookout for good alumicha.
Lemongrass is thriving. What a plant it is. It's always well-behaved. Needs a lot of water though.
But, again, with plants, I think, and this is something that in my house is very, like my dad is very into his plants.
Yes, I see his gardening stories.
He's the kind of person who sits on a Sunday. He sits on a Sunday with like a little, he has a little plant kit and a shovel and the plant food and a nice spray bottle. And he sits and he trims the leaves and he talks to them and he cleans each one every day. And for him, I think it's more therapeutic than anything else because of the stress that he's in, like about 5 to 6 days a week.
On a very, very elemental level, whether we are conscious or not conscious, the earth energy you're taking in when you're dealing with soil and plants, it's incredible because in the city, we don't get access to real earth energy.
Absolutely. And he's a bit of a loony. Like he does this thing called a sun walk, which is on a Sunday, he goes to walk in the sun.
I just love him. That's very important. You have to take all 5 elements. Sid is doing it correctly, actually.
And then when in the balcony in my house, at a certain amount of time, the sun comes right onto the floor. Like it's not up in your eyes, it's down on the floor.
He has a lie down.
He pulls.
I love it.
He pulls the center table up, takes off his shirt, lies down. And I'm like, are you tanning? He's like, no.
He's taking
just
sunlight.
Getting in the sun. My body needs the sun. But plants, I feel like it tethers him to that, like you're saying, the earth energy, something that's living, that's concrete, and yet that studies say responds well to care and affection. And
apparently, you should talk to your plants. It's important. You must.
And he cares about them so much. He's best friends with Mali in the building. He pots, repots. He goes like anywhere and everywhere to buy. Like, he's the kind of person you wonder, like, who stops on the side of a highway to pick up plants and pots? He'll stop.
I love it.
But yeah, plants are... For me,
This plant shopping and highway shopping of these ceramic pots and all is a great adventure. I also enjoy it.
yeah.
My mom has a very green thumb also. My dad likes plants but doesn't involve himself with them.
My mom also really loves plants, and she does a lot of artwork with leaves and
Oh
branches.
yeah.
She's big into the entire preserving and conserving natural
Dried
elements
leaf.
to use in art. Like, so she definitely works in that way. So again, both very connected to living items and bringing them into your life through art or through for therapy reasons or anything like that. And you've seen my house, like it's full of it's got
Yes.
plants everywhere, and it's a huge part of what makes us feel comfortable in a space. I feel like when I walk into a space that has a lot of plants, I immediately feel very comfortable.
Yeah.
I just love leaves. All my
You know,
clothes
because
have
it's
leaves on them.
I love your leafy shirts. There's a lot to be said, I think, about as we grow up, more and more we get closer to these elements, like the affection of a pet or the
natural
earthiness of a plant. Yeah.
Even the ocean, like nothing calms me down like the sound of
Absolutely.
the ocean, or like the smell of leaves in the forest. Like, my God, I think I'm just sick of the city again.
Because this is unnatural. And I think
it is unnatural to have to.
We have to admit that also. And it has to be a conscious part of our adult journey to make time for nature, to make time for grounding ourselves in the things that are truly real.
And, the best way to describe it is, when you leave the city and the minute you start seeing greenery, automatically your mood, your energy, everything changes so dynamically. And it doesn't sound like I'm saying anything like of
But we've all felt it. You fucking feel it.
You know what I'm talking about when you see green and your eyes like feel like they've been washed. Like, from staring at a screen and a smaller screen and a bigger screen. This is just, I think you're right. Our bodies at some prehistoric level, maybe like just from evolution,
craving this.
Know that I mean, I think like Yuval had written it in Sapiens, right? There's a reason we enjoy the certain views and nature. It's because it actually reminds us of the plains of like what used to be Africa, where human, existence and civilization kind of came from, because it's so hardwired into our brains that we still haven't been able to get over certain connections.
Yeah. Our cells have memory and they all, I think, remember what the earth used to be like.
Yeah. And I guess the cells all just want love and care and nourishment in different ways. So whether it's a pet or a plant, and these things that bring us joy, that bring us peace.
Another thing about pets and plants, both, I think they force you to stay in the present moment.
Yes, because no matter what you're doing, if your pet needs to poop, you have to go.
Lots of lessons to be learned. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But I also think one really big one is that this is something that if you have love to give to them as well, like you have love to give to plants, you have love to give to pets, and the response usually is always so beautifully balanced,
positive.
Like between you and the pet or the plant. And I think that a huge part of growing up is taking responsibility for these things. So if you can't get a pet, I think commit to plants, guys.
Absolutely. I agree.
Happy.
Yeah, I have one small plant which I've committed to. And thank God I've not killed it yet. There were two which arrived in March. One died, obviously. Sorry, everyone. But the second one is very much thriving and I'm taking good care of it.
That's good. We have some new plants that have started flowering.
Wow, flowering. They have started showing flowers.
Right, but we can't tell whether these are like how onions have flowers, which are just kind of, they're called onion flowers, but they're not really flowers. They're kind of just like part of the growth of the.
Yes.
Now we're a bit confused, but we'll get there. This was a wholesome episode, and what's going to come out of this is Nata's had great growth, and we're very appreciative that she came on. Hopefully, maybe in the future, I think she would be open to having another pet in her life. another takeaway is that I'm going to get a dog out of this, right?
Yes.
Okay. And just before we wrap up, we had put up an AMA today of please let us know how you feel about pets or plants and what are your feelings and emotions about them. So I'm going to read a few.
Yeah.
And then you do some from yours as well. And then Jalasmi sent us some as well. Oops, I dropped a pen. Okay. Do I need to read out the person's handle? No.
No, that's fine.
Okay, who spelled my name, by the way, on this chat? I'm single A, Ayushi, not double A.
I didn't.
All right. Somebody said, when my dog used to open the door by himself and come sleep on the bed at 4 a.m. It was like, oh. Then somebody else said that they fostered a kitten earlier this year, but they couldn't keep her because she realized that she's allergic to cats, but she really, really misses her. And then one of our friends, Sunena, said, I really want a pet. I have one plant I care for with all my heart and soul. It's usually basil. Which
is on point
for her. And then one of our friends who has recently become a cat dad. He's a full-blown cat dad. Like he'd have wanted to be on the show just to talk about his cat. And every single, he's like our friend Ameh. He is a cat dad in the sense that he has gotten every single thing he can to spy on his cat when he's not in the house. He's just watching his
Is there a CCTV? Yeah, must be now.
He has a cat
Of course.
cam. Like
Cat cam, I love it.
He has a cat cam.
Oh my God, that's so cute. Speaking of cats, one of my followers sent in. So she has 2 cats, and she said both her cats respond very differently when she has an anxiety attack.
Oh, yeah.
The big cat will go and hide and make needy voices, so she has no choice but to get up and go tell the cat it's going to be okay.
Aww.
But the tiny one more or less sits on my face till I feel better. The second I feel better, she'll make a run for it though. Wouldn't have survived lockdown or life without them.
Somebody has said, every morning Mr. Button wakes me up with gentle paw strokes to the face. Minimal scratches.
God. I think these are the cutest, loveliest things of these moments in life where you didn't think these moments could be filled with love and joy, like waking up. Like, waking up is waking up, but this has become a special waking up because of Mr. Buttons. There's
this one cute one about a dog. My current dog, Rocky, is a menace. Adorable, but a menace all the same. The other day I'd ordered in. My brother and I were at the dinner table eating, and Rocky starts begging for food. So I say no. He then starts barking and runs to the door. I follow, thinking someone must have come. I open the door to see if that's the case. Meanwhile, this idiot has run back to the dinner table and has tried to pounce on the food. What he has forgotten is that my brother is still sitting right there. Still can't believe how dogs can be so intelligent and so stupid at the same time.
Rocky is a legend. You tried, Rocky. Props to you.
5 points.
I love it. Thank you, readers, for sending in these. We'd love to hear your thoughts about this episode, and we hope you enjoyed it.
Yes. And do we want to tell people what we're doing for next week or not yet?
Yeah. Okay.
So we're not doing, it's not a social experiment. Natasha and I actually bored, but we're turning it into an episode. Because
basically, Ayushi and I are going to do an experiment, and we're going to do it for a week, and it has something to do with our love lives. And when we come back next week, we would have something to report to you. So get excited.
Next week or maybe 2 weeks. We'll see how.
Maybe 2 weeks. Let's see how long we are. I think maybe it might need some more time.
It might need some more time because our personal lives are really at an all-time,
yeah, average, middle point. I don't even know.
I don't know what it is. I don't know where the scale, what the spectrum is for this. But thank you for listening. We hope that this episode didn't upset you too much and it made you think of the things that you love and that bring you joy. And have a wonderful week ahead. Or you'll hear this on Thursday. So actually have a wonderful weekend.
Or whenever, yes. Big love, everyone. And find us on social media. Write to us. Let's chat.
I am at Ayushi A on Instagram and at Just Ayushi on Twitter.
I'm at RITSH, but you know that already.
And IVM Podcast is everywhere as IVM Podcast, so find them.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
I V M.